guess we can start getting into these over unders. We're not going to go through every team. Obviously, don't have enough time to do that. But I just want to read you off the top 5 seeds. I guess in this case for our first segment with the Eastern Conference, and then we can go through 3 or 4 key teams that y'all may be interested in. But these are all projections from 538 again. So the top 5 seeds they have listed are the Celtics at 46 and 26, the 76ers at 45 and 27, the Bucks. I'm sorry, this is like in terms of like their chance of winning the NBA championship. So not necessarily in terms of record, but Celtics at 46 and 26, 76ers at 45 and 27, Bucks at 46 and 26, the Heat at 41 and 31, the Raptors at 42 and 30, and then a little further down is the Nets at 40 and 32. In terms of championship projections, they have chance of making the playoffs for the Celtics at 98%, the chance of winning the finals at around 14%. Then it goes from the 76ers, Bucks, Heat, and Nets, who the Nets are listed at a 1% chance of winning the NBA finals. But I guess we can start with the Celtics. Gerald, your team. I guess we can start with over/under. Do you think 46 and 26 is right? Are you going a little bit higher? Are you going a little bit lower?
I think that's I'd go a tad bit lower just for the sake that Kemba Walker is not going to be there for the first month, probably second month because they got to reevaluate him. I like Boston in the playoffs a lot. I don't love them at the start of the season, so for that, I think I'd go under.
Yeah, I had a couple questions about the Celtics. Like, what do you think about that backup point guard situation? Obviously, they look at a Wanamaker, and I don't. Who's starting? Or you think they're going to start Smart at the point guard at this point, or?
See, I think they'll start Smart. I don't want them to start Smart. I think Teague, if he can fit into the offense after the first week, would be the better option because Smart would provide the spark plug off the bench. And Teague is a lot more unselfish when it comes to shot attempts, which is good for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who I think need to get the majority of them at the moment. I think Peyton Pritchard really impressed me in the preseason game that I saw him in. I want to see more from him before I want to say he's going to be like this big contributor. But I think their point guard depth is fine. I think the big question is going to be, can Tristan Thompson help defend Bam Adebayo and Joel Embiid? Because those were the pain in the Celtics behind for the entire season last year. If he can help with that, I think I'd be more confident. But I still think it's yet to be determined.
So you think like Tristan and Baines, right? They still have Baines, right?
No,
Tice. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Tice. I'm thinking of Daniel Tice. See, they be rotating those big white dudes. You know, those 3 in the key guys.
They love them.
Those defensive 3-second guys. But no, I think they're gonna. I said, do you think they're gonna rotate Tristan and Tice like maybe one time? Start Tristan versus certain bigs, and then start Tice versus certain bigs.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be situational. I think when they want to go small ball, Tice is gonna be your guy. But when they want to defend like the more bigger guys, I think Embiid, Bam, Giannis, I think they're going to throw out Thompson.
Okay, cool. So, have some Celtics questions.
You have a question?
I was going to say, I think out of all those teams, I think what's interesting is the Nets having a 1% chance, as they say with the 538. I don't believe that's true. I think somewhere in the 538 projections it was like Kevin Durant was going to be a role player, right? Something like that.
I can go through that because they also do individual player projections.
Right.
But they're listed at 42 and 30. I think the 84% chance of making the playoffs, 4% chance of making the finals and then 1% chance of winning the finals.
See, I'm not sold on the Nets by any means, but I think more than 1% they should have a chance to make the finals.
Do the Raptors have a higher chance than the Nets to make the finals?
Yes, they do.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, neither do
I don't agree with that.
100% chance of making the finals.
Oh.
Kevin Durant is listed as a key role player.
Yeah. See, if your projections start saying KD a key role player, it's time to throw the projections away. See, that's why they get on the analytics dudes, and I don't try to do that because I think information is very key to sports. But man, once you start talking about, I understand the Achilles, I understand that, but like a key role player, like what they think he gonna average, like 18 a game or something?
So for him, it's basically they're projecting. So I think they're more so projecting. So they have him at around, I guess, confidence around him. Like they have him as like an average player, and I think they're also basing this off of other people who have come off of his similar injury.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think that's influencing the projections more so than anything.
Yeah. See, I don't see him as a key role player. I do think he'll probably be a second option for a lot of this year because I don't think they're going to put the pressure of being the number one guy, at least straight out the gate. But, yeah.
I think what's going to happen is his efficiency is going to go down, but I don't think his scoring is going to go down.
You don't think so?
Nah. I think who else is going to take the shots?
I mean, you got a lot of people: Kyrie, Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen. Like that's a lot of people to sort of share around the ball. I think that he could take less shots.
Yeah, I don't agree with you there because KD, I don't think he came to Brooklyn, your max player. He didn't come to Brooklyn to see Joe Harris shoot them shots. He came there to shoot the shots. So I think it's going to be something like a Kobe off the Achilles, maybe, where Kobe was shooting 40% from the floor, but he was scoring 25 a game. I could see a scenario with that, but I think he's going to get to his 25 to 27.
I think the person who needs to watch out is Spencer Dinwiddie because Spencer Dinwiddie has not been happy this offseason. And he's a capable player, and he's going to get on the court. How much with KD, I don't know. But also the person that could be taking his shots is his best friend and his man, Kyrie Irving. I would not be surprised. I think that's a conversation. If it hasn't happened, it needs to happen. But just going further along, so just to give complete seeding for the Eastern Conference, where they have is Celtics, the 1 seed, 76ers at 2 seed, Bucks 3rd, Raptors 4th, Heat 5th, Nets 6th, 7th, Pacers 8th, Hawks, with the Magic and the Wizards in the 8, 9, and 10 spot, with the Pistons being the worst team in the conference.
Sounds about
right. I think in reading this list, I think this is the first time I sat back and was like, on paper, there are a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
I've been telling y'all.
So like 1 through 6, I feel like they all expect to win the championship this year. That's Celtics through the Nets. The Heat expect to get back there. The Raptors are not there just to be there. The Bucks, obviously, the 76ers, they feel like they have something to be with. Maybe not win the championship, but I feel like they feel like they need to be in the Eastern Conference Finals at least. And then you get into that second tier. I'm not sold on the Hawks. That's
Same.
They're listed at 35 and 37. So they're projecting them not to be over 500. With a 65% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, but they in that 7 through 10 range, which means, it's a playoff to make the playoffs. So.
Right, the play-in tournament.
Right. And I think they can make that.
Yeah.
I don't see why not, especially since they're one of those teams that have all the time off. And that's one of the reasons, like, I think the Nets should be fine because they had all the time off, especially, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Yeah. I mean, but that's different than actually distributing shots in a game, though. Like, that's my big thing with Nets is I don't know how much chemistry that team's going to have, like, from jump. I think that's going to be something they're going to have to work into.
I could see the Bucks coming in like gangbusters, though, and getting that 1 seed just because Giannis is that dude. Like, I know people are off of him because of the playoffs, but, man, Giannis is that dude. Like, I think he's better than Kevin Durant, to be honest, but he's that dude.
I'm not there with Kevin Durant yet. I'm not.
Yeah.
You don't think Giannis is better than Kevin Durant?
No, I don't. I think he's a better defensive player, but I don't believe he's a better offensive player. And I think KD, depending on how he looks when he comes back, he's a really good defensive player. Like, Kevin Durant's not just some pusher over on either side of the ball. With Giannis, yeah, he's a good offensive player, but there are limitations to his game.
Yeah, but we talking about impact though. Like, Giannis's impact on the floor is so much at this point. Is so much better than Kevin Durant's. I think we're talking about the best defensive player in the league. 1, 2, we're talking about the most efficient player in the league at this point. Like, obviously, he's not gonna hit 50, 40, 90 like Kevin Durant, but if we're talking about like true shooting and then PER at this point, I mean, it's not close. I think he had the highest PER of all time at this point, and then the playoff numbers don't dip that much. So if we're talking about, like, in terms of building something around somebody, I'm taking Giannis at this point. And KD's one of the best, I think one of the best 10 players of all time. But I think at this point in their careers, Giannis is better. And I'm not the only one that agrees with that. He's back-to-back MVP.
See, but I can't agree with the building around thing, though, because it's just like I feel like I could plop KD on any team, and he would be fine. I feel like with Giannis, he needs the right team. Like, I can't plop Giannis on a team with no shooters because then it's going to be like, all right, so I don't know what we do here. Like, and obviously Giannis behind isn't the greatest player of all time. I just feel like Giannis has certain situations where he feels like he's almost limited.
There are ways. I feel like there are more. There are more ways to stop Giannis offensively than there are to stop KD.
Right.
I think part of that is due to scheme, though. Why is Giannis at the top of the key? You know what I'm saying? And Giannis is a big too. Like, I think, like, why is Giannis at the top of the key all the time? Like, why can't you, do a pin down or something like that? I understand, like, and then the body types are different too. So I think Giannis is better and more efficient, but I also understand the limits of his game are gonna be the same limits that, like, Shaq has. He's gonna need a small to do more. To get closer in the finals. Like, because he's a big. He just happens to have a little bit of a handle, so they put him at the top of the key, and, like, that's easy for a wall to be drawn from him. So I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, Kevin Durant can do more things, but that's just because his body type is different. And, like, his game is a little bit tailored toward what he's going to do offensively with his body type. I don't expect, Giannis to have the ball on a string like that and shoot from 30 feet just because, what about Giannis suggests that or has ever suggested that?
I think that's the issue. And I think we're going to see how far it can go because he's finally going to have a small scorer with him. He's going to have Drew Holiday with him. And we'll see how that goes. And I don't put it on Giannis. I've always just been frustrated with Chris Middleton. Like, he has it like we saw in the playoffs last year, like he has it when he needs it. And I don't know if it's because Giannis has the ball in his hands and he doesn't know how to play with Giannis. Like I don't get what is the holdup with. Why can't we see Chris Middleton be what we believe Chris Middleton is and what we see? Like I just don't understand it. Like I don't understand why he's not as consistent as he could be. And maybe Drew Holiday will help that push that out of him. But I don't know. Like the last comment I wanted to make before we go to the break and then come back with the Western Conference is, I guess the two teams I would look out for in terms of just watching to be fun would be the Bulls and the Hornets. I think Kobe White, Zach LaVine, they're a lot of fun to watch. And the same thing with the Hornets. Like as far as it's only preseason, but everything that has come out about LaMelo with the Hornets has been glowing. From Terry Rozier to the coach, everybody said nice things about him. And we've seen flashes of him making no-look passes, doing that. And that works unless you're stepping in the finals and you make it and you shouldn't at a time when you shouldn't be doing that. I just hope that works out for them. The last point I would make, I think the Cavaliers by far are going to be the worst team in the league, not just the Eastern Conference, the league. I don't know if y'all have been following Kevin Porter. Kevin Porter has been a complete and utter mess this offseason. I don't know if y'all kept up with the domestic violence charge, the gun charge, the argument with the police. Like there's a lot of stuff going on with Kevin Porter in the offseason. But with that said, I'm going to take a quick break and then come back with the Western Conference.